Hello. Welcome everyone to ABL Fan Zone Show in collaboration with Pitch Points. And we are here again with some good buddies of ours. It's a Friday night here in the US, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, UK time, midnight. And we have some good friends here. Welcome everyone to the ABL Fan Zone Show. Today is a great day. It's a great day because we have a great draw. We have good games tomorrow. And it's getting warmer here in the US. And I have with me three special guests. Guest number one, all the way from Liverpool, England, Kyle Blundell. How are you, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good, Oh, like I said before, as a joke, I'm worried for tomorrow, for today, because I know what Everton like, but I'm just blessed to be on with you three, very knowledgeable about football, and he's a free great lad, so yeah, just thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. And congratulations on your exams. Congratulations that you passed them. I'm so I'm happy for you, man. That's
awesome. Congratulations, buddy. Congrats.
Thank you, lads. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, we have here from Washington, D.C., two gentlemen who I love and I get along with and we enjoy. We have our own differences and our debates and our opinions, which is great. Taye Akimboni, Chelsea fan, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Carl, for joining us from UK, Jay and Ade. I look forward to tonight's discussion.
Absolutely. And there's one man who just joined us from Ibadan, Nigeria, all the way from Ibadan, Nigeria. This guy's a phenomenal songwriter. He's an artist. His songs are amazing. I enjoy them. You should check him out at Pajay Official. Correct? That's right, Pajay.
Yes, sir. Thanks. Yeah, on YouTube and other social media. Yeah,
he's the real deal. He's talented, and he's also a Chelsea fan. Loves his club as well, which is also great to see. And he loves Nigerian football. He always tells us about what's going on. Yep. He knows all the players in and out. So it's always good to have him on Fan Zone as well. So welcome, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And last but not the least, partner in crime, City Blue Blood. Again, we have our differences on players. We debate a lot, but we love the club either which way. Adeyinka George, welcome, buddy.
Thank you for having me. It's funny you mentioned that. People think we get along when it comes to football. They don't know Carl and I have like serious disagreements. But it's okay. Anyways, let's go on with the show.
Serious disagreements, which is all good. This is why we love football, right? We love the game. But tonight we want to spend the next 65 minutes talking about so many things. There are really 3 or 4 good areas. Champions League draw. We'll talk about the Europa League draw. We'll talk about this new competition, the UEFA Conference League, and I'll explain to everyone what that means, what the impact is. There's a massive impact actually on teams that finish 6th and 7th. On Liverpool, it could be potentially an issue with Everton as well. Then we'll look at the Premier League. We'll look at the North London Derby, talk about what the hell happened in that game, because I'm still scratching my head. Top 4 race. We'll look at the top 4 race. Who's going to finish 4th? What's the impact on the clubs? It's massive and really important for the 4th place team to get Champions League football because of the revenue issues that are going to happen next year. I've been able to look at a lot of clubs' financial statements and the need to make top 4, because if you don't make top 4, the hole in the finances is massive. So we'll talk about that. We'll look at the FA Cup preview. So those are the areas we're going to talk about today. But let's start off first of all with the Champions League draw. Anybody excited about the draw?
Woohoo! See, when you did that, there's this meme that we share when we're cracking jokes, right? Like, the one that the baby that bends and starts twerking. But I just felt like that would be inappropriate right now. That's how excited. Yeah, I mean, it's yeah.
I'm excited. Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. I mean, the Champions League, and we talked about this, Pajit. The Champions League is the most crazy competition in the world because it's a competition of moments, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter how good you are in the league or what your last 16 game was. It's about moments.
That's true.
It's about moments offensively and moments defensively. And one moment of bad luck can look at PSG versus Barcelona in the Remontada years ago. 4-1 up first leg, 6-1 the next leg. So it's about moments, and we'll talk about that. Let's talk about the draws in particular. Bayern versus PSG. I'm glad these two are joining up because this, to me, is the game of the quarterfinal. And what do you think, Kyle?
I think it's this game really excites me because this was the game where I said for me that the favourite for the Champions League for me was Bayern. I said the only people that come close is PSG and City. So to see PSG versus Bayern is so fun because they're the two best teams in it for me, and probably play the most entertaining. PSG are just attack under Poch, very crazy style, and Bayern play this lovely style. So I think it's good for every other team who are in there. So like yourselves and Chelsea, because you get one of the best teams in there gone, no matter what.
Yeah.
One of them's going to be gone. So I think it's better for Pep and better for City and better for Tuchel and Chelsea because no matter what, a world-class side's going out between these two teams. And we also get to see who's better. You know, for me, Haaland, Mbappe or Lewandowski, because there's always that, you know, who's the best striker in the world. And obviously you've got Mbappe, Haaland, Lewandowski, Aguero, so many options. But it's just such an intriguing game. I'm really excited. That's why I'm rambling. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. Paja, what are your thoughts on this particular game, Bayern versus PSG? How do you think it's going to play out?
I mean, I'll first of all say that it feels almost like that final before the final. I mean, before the last draw, before the last matches that they played, series that both sides played, Bayern looked like a massive favorite, right? But if you look at the slim margin by which Bayern won that series, you kind of feel like on a good day they could be there for the taking.
Mm-hmm.
And a team like PSG, if they hold forth defensively, they can create all kinds of issues for Bayern.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll say like there's like a 55-45 chance, 55 for Bayern, but there's also a 45 chance, and Pochettino in Champions League, you know, will be trying to prove his medal. You know,
do you think? Yeah, I agree with you, Paja. Do you think that the fact that this is now a two-legged tie kind of changes the dynamic within Bayern and PSG, because you know PSG have a second chance, if you would, to correct, and the second leg is in Paris. What effect is that going to have on this tie in particular?
Oh, you stole my lead in. That's what I was going to lead in with.
Oh,
but
sorry.
no, that's fine. But I think the big difference between this and last year is that this is two legs now. This is two legs. And, you know, last year you make one mistake, it was one and done. You know what I mean? People forget the quarterfinals last year was one and done.
Yeah.
This year's 2 years. You have the chance to correct whatever it is you did wrong, which was always the format they built this tournament to be, because it was quick. It's a tournament where one thing can go wrong in the first leg, and then in the second leg, you can adjust some things. It doesn't always work out, but sometimes it does, like with Liverpool and Barcelona. So I think that's massive. So Bayern is still the favorites for me because they are really the most complete team in the tournament. If you look at them defensively, offensively, how they flow, their midfield, they just work. I mean, they're like a machine. PSG, that's a tap. They're coming for you. You know, forget whatever you think, they're coming for you. I don't know if Neymar's going to play, so that's going to be a big difference, but I think this matchup is really good. I'm happy that they both get to eliminate each other, so that's good for me. And you know, my team. Hopefully, we can get by Dortmund, and you know. But that's how I see PSG and Bayern.
Thanks for that. I want to come to Ty on the next point, because I heard something. I had one coach say something this week about Champions League. He says the best defenses get you to the final, and then the best attacks win you the final. And right now, if you look at the teams in the Champions League, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Bayern, PSG, Real Madrid, City and Chelsea have conceded less goals combined than everybody else individually. In fact, they've conceded within 24 hours of football, 24 hours of continuous football, that is day and night. City and Chelsea have conceded only 3 goals versus, I think, Bayern of maybe 5 or 6, Liverpool of 9 or 3 or so. So, I mean, what do you think about that? How much of an impact will the defensive side of this game be when you look at Bayern Munich versus PSG? Dai?
So, I mean, I'm going to go right off the bat. My prediction is Bayern Munich. And you're going to hear a lot of praise from me tonight. The praise is why not, right? If you have to pick one of the two teams, Bayern Munich and PSG, why not Bayern Munich, right? Last year they beat them, And like you say, defensively, Bayern Munich is going to concede goals, but they're going to outscore you, right? And we don't know. We're hoping Neymar is back. But
I think he's back. He's back already. He played last week.
Yeah, but with the way Neymar is getting injured, between Neymar and Hazard, I'm not sure who's more injury prone. I mean, obviously it's Hazard, but I mean, I'm joking about that. But anything can happen with Neymar. You can blow a wind on him, and it's all of a sudden he's grabbing something. So, I mean, personally, I think I was talking to Pai J and the whole fans on group. Like, I don't want either one of these two in the first round in the quarterfinals. You know, before the draw, I was praying that we don't get PSG or Bayern Munich. You know, and having those two go against each other, like everybody else has said, that kind of opened the draw off for anybody else. So this is going to be a very. I think this particular series we have more goals than any other game. Right? Because they're both going to concede goals, period. It's just a matter of who can outscore each other over 2 legs.
So who are you picking? Ade, who are you picking for this tie? PSG or Bayern Munich over 2 legs?
Over 2 legs, I think Bayern have the best chance to self-correct if something goes wrong in the first leg. Maybe something they haven't anticipated PSG doing. Just because I think Hansi, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, the coach, I think he's really, really smart. Not to take anything away from Poch, but I think they have the best chance over 2 legs to self-correct something that went wrong. PSG, it's all attack. They're going to go for you. And I just think Bayern is just too strong. They're just too complete.
Okay, Pajay, you?
Yeah. I mean, if there's any game that kind of showed me the resiliency of Bayern Munich, it was that game recently against Dortmund. I mean, Dortmund were flying.
I saw that game.
Yeah. And Haaland just looked like nobody knew where he was on the field. But it was just the calmness with Bayern. It's like, they've scored their goals. Okay, I'm gonna calm down. I'm not with this thing, You know, so it's just that calmness of we're gonna win this game. And I think that's what's gonna come through over the two, I mean, they might expose some weaknesses of Bayern for other teams to capitalize on in the next round. But I think overall, Bayern is a more balanced team, and I expect them to go through.
Okay.
But then again, you never know because nobody expected Dortmund to beat was it Sevilla? Yeah. And that happened. So,
Kyle, what about you? Who are you picking for this one?
It depends who's at right back for Bayern. If Nicolas Süle's at right back, I think it could be a dangerous game.
Yeah,
because I saw him the other day, and he's so slow, and he just can't read the game as well at right back. And I think someone like Mbappe or Neymar, let's be honest, look what they do to quick fullbacks. They have them all over the pitch, don't they? And if they don't play Süle, and look, I think Bayern, for me, like I think Adi said it best, they're a unit. Everyone works for everyone in that team. They are phenomenal. I think Bayern over 2 legs. If it was a one game fixture, I'd probably say PSG, but I think Bayern can fix the game over 2 legs. I think Bayern.
That's a good point that you raised, Carl, because if Sula's playing against Mbappe, it's good night for Sula. There's just no way. And then if Boateng's playing against Neymar, that's a problem. I think PSG's weakness is the midfield and the defensive part of the field, which they'll probably end up conceding. So everybody's picking Bayern. I'll pick PSG just to go against the grain. We'll see. I'm going to pick PSG.
I see Verratti getting a card in this game. I mean,
Verratti.
He's just a knucklehead. So I see him ruining the game somehow for them.
Yeah. Okay. So Bayern looks like that's what everyone's going to pick. So we'll just go with that one, and then we'll see what happens. The next game, Madrid-Liverpool. This is Liverpool's last chance saloon, right? I mean, Carl, what do you think? This is Liverpool's last chance saloon to make Champions League next year?
See, I don't know, because the shite, like they can lose and they always find a way. Like that bee, all that wasp that just never fucks off. That's what they're like. They're always there. I hate them, obviously, being an Everton fan. But it's the last chance. They've been awful this year, and let's be honest, I think Klopp's gonna go for this, because Klopp's surely got to look at the Prem and think it's over now, because they're not consistent enough. You know, I think they've lost every home game on the run for about, I think it's 2 months now. They haven't won a game at home in 2021, so they look awful. So I think they're going to go for the Champions League, but I still think Real Madrid are too strong for them. Because I think, you know, Benzema, let's be honest, their defence is mistake prone at the moment. We saw what they did to City. Alisson turned into a world-class City player for most of that game. So, and if he does that to Real Madrid, Benzema is world-class. He'll pick their mistakes up and he'll make them pay.
Ty, do you think that Phillips and Kabak at centre back for Liverpool will be able to stop Bayern Munich? So stop Real Madrid?
Nah. So again, I'm gonna say my pick really is Real Madrid, and again, why not? Why not? I mean, they come to Champions League to shine. Zidane's experience in the Champions League is impeccable. Liverpool is still struggling. Their next 2 games before the Champions League game is Arsenal and Aston Villa. So that's even going to cost them even more. So right now, Liverpool is in crap. There's no way around it. There's no, ifs or buts about it. Even if they were playing great, I would still pick Real Madrid over Liverpool because I can see Ramos right now going, Salah, come back. So, so Ramos is licking his lips, and Benzema is gonna, Benzema factors if he can stay healthy between now and then. I see Benzema getting 2 or 3 goals over the 2 legs. Again, why not? Why not Real Madrid? I don't see why it's Liverpool. So that's just my opinion.
I mean, what do you think about this Real Madrid versus? They're not in the best form, but they know how to win this competition, right? Against Liverpool, who have their centre backs out. Alexander's struggling. Salah and Firmino and Jota are not really firing. How do you see this going, man?
I'm going the opposite direction. I think Liverpool's going to win actually both legs of this game.
What?
I really do. I think so. I think they're going to win both legs of this game because they're a wounded animal. Like, this is it for Klopp. And if you look at the matchups, well, what are the matchups? What are the matchups that really threaten Liverpool in this game? Is it Benzema? So it's just who feeds Benzema the ball? How does their midfield match up with Liverpool's midfield? Yes, they're not that great, but Fabinho is now back at his normal role. So it'll be Fabinho going against Modric and I forget who else Madrid has. But if you look at the matchup they have, it's not overwhelming enough. What'd you say, Ty?
I said that midfield is stacked.
Their midfield is stacked from a talent perspective. But yes. Are they fast enough? Are they faster? Are they that faster than Liverpool's?
There's no team move the ball faster than Real Madrid in Champions League. Maybe Bayern Munich. Let me take that.
Have you seen Real Madrid play this year?
Yeah, I think.
Wait, which Madrid are you talking? You're talking about the Madrid of last year. I'm talking about the Madrid of this year. This year's Madrid is not who you're talking about. This year's Madrid is not the same, and that's why I feel people are not giving Liverpool a chance, and they're saying, "Oh, Liverpool are so awful." Liverpool have dedicated everything towards this Champions League. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think if Jota plays, actually, I take this. If Jota plays, they win. They win.
Pajay, I mean, I didn't have a point about Liverpool's, about Real Madrid's midfield. It's not very quick. Modric, Kroos, they're not. Casemiro are not as quick as.
Plus, I think if you look at those names, right, you're looking at them from a reputational point of view. Like the Kroos and the Modric of 4 years ago, they're not the same speed as for now. And also, if you look at even Madrid up front, the only person that scares me up there is Benzema, and he has to get like a half chance. He's potent when he gets something inside the box.
Yes.
But outside the box, and the other Brazilian dude that they have there, So the ace in the hole for me, like Yinka said, if Jota is sparkling and if Mane gets his confidence back, there's something off about Mane. But somebody like him might just be maybe a game or two to just be like, okay, all right, I smell the coffee now. Because the last few games he's played is like some moves he would normally make and he would have finished off. It's like he's taking like that half-second decision type, But if he gets himself together, it can be more competitive than we will not see the Liverpool that we see in the EPL in the Champions League.
Correct.
Yeah. How much of an impact will the lack of two proper center backs? Remember, we talked about the fact that defense gets to the finals, and then the finals you win by attack. We talked about that as someone who said that. But we have Phillips and Kabak, who are really championship and German bottom league players. Against in the Champions League against Real Madrid.
I think if they may or may not, because one disease that club may have is to not be willing to be flexible with the system in lieu of what's happening with the personnel. Yeah. That's one thing that Tuchel did with us. It's like, far at the back with these guys, I don't know. Let me stack it up. So if he does something to protect those guys, maybe play a back five or something and just throw Madrid off because Madrid is preparing for a four at the back, then they might be able to do something. Because, if we can at least block this off, our guys in the front, we'll take our chances with speed.
Hold on, guys. But remember, Real Madrid play 3-5-2 now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we're talking in terms of Liverpool's defense.
Correct.
The inexperienced two guys coming together in January. Yeah. So if Klopp does something to protect them,
Kai, you have too much faith in Liverpool's Madrid's midfield, and I don't know why.
Carl,
listen, you have.
Go ahead, Carl. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Carl.
I just want to say, we're all talking about Liverpool's defense, and look, I'm taking me mind out my Everton mind here. I'm not going to be biased. Don't worry. I'm just going to think of it another natural point of view. And you look at Liverpool's last few games, the Man City game, they struggled with pace in that back line. The Leipzig game, Leipzig constantly caught them on the counter. They just couldn't finish the chances. Yep. We caught them on the counter both times and got chances, and we scored both goals. And then Chelsea played them, and Timo Werner had that defence on strings. Timo Werner was constantly finding runs. Vinicius Jr., yes, I'm probably better at shooting than him. But when he can cause problems, can't he? And if he keeps finding that, if he keeps preying on that back line, because yes, they're better in the Champions League, but they still play that high line. We saw that against Leipzig. They were playing a high line. And let's be honest, if they had a world-class maybe number 9 or a world-class finisher, Leipzig would have won because they were missing too many easy chances. And for me, yes, Liverpool have a quick midfield, but we saw Liverpool against Fulham. Do Fulham really have a quick midfield or a world-class midfield? No. But Fulham played them off the park in the midfield. We beat them in midfield with Gylfi Sigurdsson, Tom Davies, Gomez.
But Carl, I'll say this. You make good points, but Everton is quicker on the counter than Real Madrid is.
100%.
Leipzig is quicker. Yes, Taye, I don't know which Real Madrid you've been watching, but those two teams are quicker on the counter. I'm not saying they're more talented. I'm saying on the counter, Everton is quicker.
Right.
Everything is quicker. What game are you watching?
We're gonna watch this game. Did you watch? Okay. Did you watch Real Madrid against Atlanta? Did you see how many chances, like Kyle said, Vinicius
compared to Everton's counter and the players they have, they are quicker than Madrid on the counter. Leipzig is quicker than Madrid on the counter. Go watch, man.
All right, we'll watch. Hey, Kyle, remember to set up a Zoom. We gotta watch this together.
Okay. But to Carl's point, from everything, I think, but what I was saying before, the undoing of Liverpool is to not protect that defense by playing a high line with those two guys that just came to the EPL.
Yes.
That's a death sentence. Yes. But if he tweaks something around and he moves it back, not do like high block, but Klopp, his defenders will be inside Madrid's 18. But if he goes with a game plan and protects that back line, they have enough to trouble Madrid at the back too.
Yeah.
So
just to wrap up this particular game, think about the Chelsea game that played against Liverpool. What beat them was the pace of Werner and the other guy who was playing for Chelsea against the high line. Think about Aston Villa, right? What killed them 7-2 was the high line with the transition football between Grealish and that Ollie Watkins. That's what killed them. Against City was basically City's pressing that got them off and confused them. So if they don't address those two centre backs and protect them, like Majay said, they will be in trouble. But let's pick who's going to win this game over two legs: Madrid or Liverpool. Ty, who do you think? Who do you pick?
Madrid winning both games, both home and away.
Okay.
I already picked Liverpool. Look, I think what's his name? Arnold has to be disciplined. If Arnold is indisciplined like he always is and doesn't want to play defense and just want to go forward, yes, there's a chance that Real Madrid squeak by. If he's disciplined a little bit, I think Liverpool wins. Not both legs, like I said before. I was getting a little carried away, but they win enough in aggregate to win.
Okay, Paget.
With clubs, inflexibility, I think Madrid is going to win, because I don't know how Klopp is going to change that. He could, but I don't think he's going to do it, because they just play. They've been playing that way for a long time, and I don't know if he's going to change that now. So I think just based on that, Madrid is going to win.
That's good.
Carl, what about you? What do you think?
I just want to say I'm really happy to see Asensio back in Madrid, because he suffered from a really bad injury and he's a phenomenal. I love watching Asensio. I find him brilliant to watch, but he's just suffered from injuries. But I think Liverpool go to Madrid. I don't know where the first leg is, if it's at Anfield or if it's in Madrid. But Madrid. I think Liverpool beat them in Madrid, maybe 2-0. But then I think Madrid beat them at Anfield, because they haven't got I know this. Anfield's a toxic place to go to. I've been there plenty of times when watching the derby, and we've turned up. Obviously, we're nowhere near as good as Madrid, but we've been, the atmosphere does get us here, but they've not got any fans now, so no one can get Madrid back. And Madrid are a very patient team; they can play their football the way they want to, and I just think Madrid will beat them in the second leg and win the tie.
Yeah, I think Madrid's going to get through. I think that Liverpool is going to try. This is the last chance to win, because if they don't win the Champions League and they don't finish top 4, they can end up in the Europa Conference League.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about what that means. It's I don't know if you want to be there, but this is the last chance to win for them, and it's tough for them because they have to try and get top 4, which I don't think they will get, and then they have to also try and win the Champions League. So, and the draw is not easy either way. Either it's Real Madrid now, or it's Chelsea afterwards. It's City or Bayern or PSG. It's a long road to get through. To get through 7 games, if you would, of high quality caliber.
Imagine what Bayern would do to them as well. They played a high line against Bayern. I know they played Bayern a few years ago, but Hansi Flick wasn't the Bayern coach back then, and Bayern weren't the same team. Bayern would probably do just as what they did to Barcelona to the same to Liverpool. You can't play a high line against Bayern, because
we'll go with Madrid. The next one, real quick. Let's talk about the other big one: Porto versus Chelsea. And all Chelsea fans were happy when they got this draw. Ade and I we actually watched Porto play.
Yeah.
And I talked to Paji about this earlier on, and Ty. Watch Porto play Chelsea. And Porto are one nasty MFA team.
Nasty.
They are nasty.
Carl, do you remember I told you they were going to beat Juve, and everybody else picked Juve to win, and I told you Porto was going to win.
I mean, we watched them twice. They are
Porto is not a nice team. They play like their manager.
I mean, I think Paji already shared with me something that the manager already said in the media, right? This is kind of where it all starts. Mm-hmm. Chelsea have to be on their game, and all the nastiness that they're going to throw at them.
They're going to fall all over the place. They're going to delay tactics. He's like the Jose Mourinho of. I know. You don't like to hear that. I'm sorry.
But let's ask the Chelsea fan. How do you guys feel about this tie? What must you guys do to overcome Porto both legs to get through to the semifinals?
So
Paji,
I'm glad that we got that. Let me go. I'm glad that we got Porto. Yes, they're nasty, but Porto is not that good compared to what Chelsea could give them. Compared to having to go against Bayern Munich or PSG, they're not that good, right? Yes, they're going to do all tactics or whatever in the world, but this is 2 legs. You have 2 legs to prove yourself. They beat Juve. Juve is not that good this year, right? Juve, they're not that good. So I can see why they lose. They don't consider yes, defensively, you consider a lot of goals, but their backline is old. I will be very, very highly disappointed if we lose this game. So I will be over 2 legs. Come on, there's no way. I don't see this happen. So that my pick obviously is Chelsea, but no matter how nasty they are over 2 legs, I just love what Tuchel is doing. I love the fact that anybody can come in and fit into the system and play hard. And if you're not playing hard, you will pull out Doyle on you from the bench, get somebody else in that will come in and do the job. So it could be nasty as all they want. I'll be shocked if we don't win this series.
Paji, what do you think? I know we talked about it earlier on.
It's not going to be an easy task to get past them, but I think ultimately, we are going to get through. And part of it is there's something I picked up from, because when we played, was it Sevilla? We played the Spanish team, who were very, very, very physical. It's like anytime you get past a player, they always give you something to take with you, and you're holding your side like, oh my God, I just got a little kick in there. So, but the team rose up past all of that and overcame. So, and I think we're going to have to bring some of that, but if they like to sit back and counter and all that, even watching the Juve game, as bad as Juve, not to say as bad, but as underwhelming as they are compared to Juve of the past, there were some decisions that Juve forwards made. Watching those games, I'm like, like Porto was kind of there for the taking, but it's like some decisions on the field were just like, what's going on in your mind, So I expect us to get through, and if we score first and early, if we can do that, which we usually don't, but if we do that, that's going to change the complexion for them. It's going to change.
Everton.
Real quick, I wanted to say real quick, right? I was more worried about Atletico game than this series.
Yes.
This is an pick for Chelsea. I just wanted to
just to tag on that. I'm sorry, Carl, just give me a second. So when I was before the first game against Atletico, they were doing some analysis, and the commentators were going on about how Atletico had these two guys and they fall back and they do these four things and they turn into this diamond and they do this and they do that, and that's why they're in the league, in their table, leading their table in their league. So as a Chelsea fan, I'm like, oh Jesus, let me go to Oxon Hill and start praying, because the way they are describing this guy, they will murder us. But our team brought something, and Atletico just was nowhere to be found. And I think that's the same thing that's going to happen to Porto.
To be fair, Chelsea did well against Atletico Madrid. But if you look at Atleti's form, even in the Champions League, in their group stage, against Bayern Munich, against I think it was another team, Lazio or something, they were really not really. And Bayern gave them 4-0 at home or something. They were really not really good. I feel sorry for them.
But the thing about a team like that is, once in a while they might have that one guy. They have that, what's that Portuguese boy, or that Suarez that could do something, and they'll score that goal, and then they'll go and pack all their bosses in the so.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rudiger for putting Suarez in his pocket.
Suarez is done, man. I watched the game. I was like, this guy can't even run anymore.
He's still in London looking for the Okada to go back to Madrid.
I feel sorry for Joao Felix. He should fire his agent. Seriously. Who would you allow your son go there and come? Anyway, that's another conversation another day. But Carl, any hope for Porto? Can you make a case for Porto?
Well, I said to Ty, didn't I, that I thought Atletico was going to win. Didn't I? And I was wrong there, but I don't think you should be writing Porto off, maybe, because they're one of them teams that it doesn't matter. They don't care if they get a red card. They will tackle you and hit you and break you down. And but I think Chelsea have got a lot of quality. But I was watching the Porto Juve game, and I thought Porto in the first leg set up brilliantly, absolutely brilliant in the first leg. But then I think in the second leg, I thought they got torn apart at times in the game, and they weren't in control of the game. And it was two moments, but again, it's the Champions League. All you needed moments. But I don't see Chelsea's defence giving them moments like the Juve defence did. I don't see them making them mistakes. But I still say it. If they started Weston McKennie, they would have won Juventus. Would have won the tie, because he's a energetic, brilliant young midfielder. But it's a tough game, because I think Chelsea look good defensively, but they don't take the chances. They're still winning games. Obviously, they're winning games. They've won a lot of games, but they need 3-4 chances to score. Where all you need in the Champions League is that one chance. And if Chelsea don't score and Porto get that one goal, then it's different. But I think Chelsea is going to be too strong for them, mate. And I think those start Giroud, make it physical. I don't see Werner starting. I don't see Mason, maybe Mount. Don't really see, Havertz, to see a midfielder like Jorginho, Kovacic, a very physical starting 11 from Chelsea, and I think it'll be too much for Porto.
I think what can Chelsea learn from City games against Porto that they can take a lead from and learn how to overcome Porto with a nastiness?
I think they could take a lot away from City's game if they go study how that team, because I think Chelsea play, or I think TT aspires to play the way Pep does. If you look at how he plays, he's building that confidence in the back, just like we did this year, with that solid defense, and then the players, they slowly come along. We're not churning out goals the way we used to, because we don't play that way anymore. We play differently now, and I think that's what Chelsea. And you see how strong they are in the back. But if you watch the City game and watch how Porto played us, and they are just really nasty people. I mean, I keep repeating that because it's so true. They are really nasty people, and they'll lie on the ground and waste a lot of time. And Champions League is just 2 games. It's good that it's 2 legs. I think Chelsea will win this, but I don't think it's as easy as everyone thinks. I don't think so. I think they will win, but I think it's not that easy. I think over the long, if Chelsea scores a goal like Carl says in that first leg, it makes things easier. But if Porto gets a goal, man, it's gonna be tough. But you
I
have
think
the second leg to do the self-correcting, and that's the brilliance and best part about this competition
I
this year.
think the one thing I learned about the game against City was during the first leg when we won 3-0, we scored 3 quick goals, like blew them away, and then the touch lines, Pep and the coach and they got into verbal. I'm talking about calling their mothers, calling their wives, all kinds
He
of
gets
names.
into it with everybody, though. I thought it was just Pep, but he does that with everybody. He's like that with
Just
everybody.
crazy, you know.
Thank God there's a coach out there worse than Mourinho. Thank God.
I didn't say all that.
So it's going to be interesting. Okay, looks like we're all going for Chelsea to win that.
Carl, can I just say one thing though? Like one player I think Chelsea should watch out. See, I was with a girl. I had a girlfriend who's from Portugal, but she's a Benfica fan, and most of her family was a Benfica fan. But her granddad was a Porto fan, and there was this one person that her granddad went on about for months, and his name's I can't remember his first. I think it's Jesus Corona, the winger who can play as number 10. And apparently he's brilliant, and also Sergi Oliveira. I know he's got the 2 goals against Juventus, but he's a bulldog of a player. He's horrible. Like he's took leg. He just doesn't care. He'll break players' legs and just doesn't care about it. But look, Havertz looks like if he does play, I don't know, but he looks like he's coming. He tortured us, so I can't call him shit because he tortured us. Do you know what I mean? He absolutely had us everywhere, so it happens. But hopefully for Ty, Chelsea win.
Absolutely. Okay, good. And next is City versus Dortmund. I think after Porto, it's probably the one we wanted the most. I would say we probably wanted this one more than even Porto because of the nature of how Dortmund play. Ade, what do you think about this tie-up?
Man, this is a good matchup, man. It's tough, man. It's a tough team, man. Dortmund, just because of that one monster in the middle, he just needs half a chance. And he's shooting on goal. But our defense, the best thing about City this year is our defense. It's solid. It's solid, and I don't think we should. I think we should respect them a little bit. That line we play is still high, but not as high as it used to be. I think you should be worried about that through ball from Sancho or one of I forget the other midfielder that goes through to Haaland, because Haaland is quicker than anybody on our back line. So you have to be wary of that. But I think City pulls this out because we probably keep more of the possession, and that's what starves a lot of teams. You keep the possession away from them, and they're now running around, and they're just like frustrated. If we do what we normally do, which is frustrate teams by keeping possession, we make the game very difficult for them. Because I saw how Dortmund played Bayern. Man, that team is good, but Bayern is just resilient, and that's how Bayern beat them because Haaland kept coming.
Yeah. To be fair, Bayern turned up the heat when Haaland went up injured.
Exactly.
So when he left, that's when because before he left, I mean,
he was coming back at him. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's not an easy matchup. So I see City winning, but it's not going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy.
Yeah, I think City's record against German teams is quite good overall. Even Bayern Munich, I think we've beaten them like 2 or 3 times back then, and Dortmund beat Dortmund already. So they're not bad, but I mean, Ty, Carl, Papaji, how do you see this matchup? What are you expecting?
I would say the same thing I said about Chelsea. I will be shocked and disappointed if City loses. I'm actually going to watch the game. Hopefully, this game is not the same time where they had in the last round, where they had 2 games at the same time.
It's crazy, man.
I really want to watch Haaland against EPL teams to see how he performs, to see if he can make those runs. I'm looking forward to watch this game, but not because I think it's going to be a close game. I think City is going to win. Again, I'll be shocked and disappointed if City doesn't win over 2 legs with the form that City is playing right now. But it's easy for City. Of course, no team is easy when you get to this stage.
Yeah.
I don't see, City fumbling this ball.
Yeah. Ajay, what do you think? How do you think it's going to play out?
Yeah. I think overall, I think City is going to pull through. City is going to beat them because as many goals as Dortmund scores, they have that problem at the back.
Yeah.
And now this is the difference that's going to get you to the next stage. Especially when you're playing against teams that can score. So, but like Ty said, I'll be watching just to see, if the Haaland hype. Oh, I just made up a word. Haaland hype.
There you go, bro.
If the Haaland hype is what it is against, I mean, I really, currently the best team in the EPL, so that maybe you can bring the price down.
No, he's not bringing it down. No, don't say it.
Bring the price down for us.
No.
Carl, I'll come to you in a minute. But this is a really interesting case of this Haaland guy in terms of the next step, because I think Chelsea and City are probably the 2 teams who are probably going to go after him. I think he's not going to go to United. I can tell you that he ain't going to United because 1, his dad had issues with United. 2, in terms of where he can probably win trophies in the future, it's probably more City and Chelsea than it is United. I think that it is. Also because we have a gap in the number 9 spot, right, for City and for Chelsea, frankly. Chelsea have Giroud. Giroud is going to have to go. There is no natural number 9. Correct. 2, Chelsea City have money to play. 3, we have the wage structure that can afford that kind of player. Yeah. And people talk about his transfer fee of 150, 160. Well, people forget that transfer fees amortize over time. So he's 21 years old. You can amortize that 150 million over 10 years. So end up paying 10 million or 50 million a year, which is immaterial compared to this big club. So the question now is, what will he want to do, and what will the agent do? That's going to be the at the end. That's what's going to end up happening.
Don't forget, Madrid is also in the running for him, though. So
Madrid are in the running, but Madrid have this whole Mbappe issue of trying to get Mbappe, right? They'd rather get Mbappe than get Haaland. I think so, but they're always there. They can always make
the allure of playing for a club like Madrid is just always there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Carl Blundell, what do you think about this game, City Dortmund?
See, I'm a huge fan of the Bundesliga, so I watch and study a lot of teams in the Bundesliga, and Dortmund have been last year. They looked pretty good. They looked like they could overdo Bayern at times. They looked really good. But the one player, and everyone says Haaland and who makes the biggest impact. One player I thought made the biggest impact last year was Hakimi. But then he's left. They've lost that sense of creativity on the transition as much with Hakimi. And Hakimi's brilliant. And now he's left. For me, Sancho is a threat. Sancho's a real threat. I think Sancho's brilliant. But I can't see that defense dealing with, they've conceded 5 goals to Stuttgart. I think it was 4 or 5 to Bayern. They conceded a few to Leipzig, a few to Mainz. They've conceded a lot of goals. They're not as good as they were last year. The midfield isn't as strong as City's, and I don't see a world where, unless Haaland has a masterclass, I just don't see a world where they can beat City.
Okay, so looks like we have Bayern, Madrid, Chelsea, City going through to the semi-finals based on everyone's guess, which is not a bad semi-final quartet to have. 2 English teams, 1 German team, and 1 Spanish team. Okay, let's move on to the next topic real quick. Europa League, the second competition. Is it only me? But I think the Europa League actually has some better games than Champions League, some more exciting games than Champions League sometimes.
No.
Think about the Tottenham versus Dinamo game.
No.
What happened to Tottenham? Ajay, what happened to Tottenham against Dinamo Zagreb?
Ajay, go first. I know you're gonna.
How can you? Explain to me how. You're a coach, right? You're a coach. Well, I'm also a learning coach. Explain to me how you're 2-0 up in the first leg against Dinamo Zagreb and you can go and concede 3 goals. So you're 2-2 after full time. You have 30 extra minutes, and then you concede 1 more, and you will lose 3-0. You're out, knowing that you need to win that competition to get into Champions League. How does that happen, Ajay?
See, the way I can see that happen is that you go into a competition 2 goals in hand, forgetting how hard you have to work for those 2 goals. And on paper, You're supposed to be the better team. And you're going in there in their home turf, thinking that, we're just going to have a cakewalk. When you disrespect your opponent, that's what happens. And a lot of, like Mourinho said, I am part of the team. But the people on the field are the players. And it's not today that they are playing. So I feel like there's some teams that have that natural thing that anytime they step on the field, there's no complacency. There's no room for. It's like we come in here, we score the first goal. Now they have to score 3. Good luck to that. But if you think that 2-0 is a safe bet, well, they just found out. So that I feel like it boils down to attitude going into the match. Yeah, mentality going into the match. It's not about talent or ability. It's the attitude. It's like say I want to fight Yinka George now. And I'm thinking that I just have to throw one punch, because it looks like a butter. But karate. And I'm going there without the correct attitude.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, man, this is Upper Marlboro. This is my land. This is my zip code. Who born you? And that's exactly what happened.
So I think you're spot on. I mean, I had. I'm going to come to you, Ty, in a minute, and Carl. I heard something today on the radio that really kind of, it was a light bulb in my mind. Somebody said that Dinamo Zagreb are used to winning their championship at home every single year. They're the top of their own league. So their mentality is the one of winning. So when you as soccer come to Dinamo Zagreb and you don't have that mentality to win, I think it's going to be easy. These guys are used to winning every single match, every single league, every single year. That's what you get as the result. Ty?
So here's what I'll say. I want to go back to a show we had early this year. When Tottenham was playing well, when they won series of games, and everybody's saying they got Bale now, they have a chance to win the league. And Kyle, remember what I said? I said they have the players, but they don't have the coach. The coach makes a huge difference. I'm a big fan of coaching when it comes to this kind of things. The reason why I said they don't have the coach is they don't have the coach that can play an attacking game and get the best of the players going forward. They have the players, but the coaches look at City, right? Let me use City for example. City's identity is an identity of the coach, of Pep, right? Same thing with Leeds, same thing with the new Chelsea, right? We play the way the coaches want us to play. The mentality of Mourinho, no matter what it says about them attacking and going forward, all you needed was one goal away. You couldn't pull one goal. Look at all the good teams that Tottenham has played this year. They lost to Everton. They lost to Liverpool twice. They lost to City twice. You name it. They lost to Chelsea. So every time they play a good team, they lose because they don't know how to attack and get on the front foot. You go away, you go to one goal. You couldn't score a single goal. To put yourself in the chances. Hold on one second. The last few games that they won, that 5-game or 4-game series they won, there were teams that are 10th or below in the table where you have enough quality to win those games. It's not necessarily the attitude. You don't have the team that is a winner. You had players like Kane, like Son, that can beat those teams without taking on the coach's impression. So now when it really, really counts, there's nothing else for you to give. Because you're playing a team that's giving everything against you. And like I said earlier, they're not going to win the league. They're not going to win anything because of the attitude of the coach. I don't think the coach is in the 21st century of attacking football. He's not in 1990-something of Didier Drogba, where you can pack the bus and finish the game. He's trying to come out now because he has the players, but the identity is not there. It's not in him. It's not. The only thing that will save Mourinho is to bring somebody else in as an assistant coach who is more attacking player, like Pep did, brought a defensive coach in to help him out with his weakness. That's the only thing that can save Tottenham and can save Mourinho's job. If not, it's done.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with that. And I'll disagree with that because first of all, football is not played exactly the same way by every coach on the planet. I don't buy this idea that there's one way to play soccer. Secondly, the reason I disagree with that is that You can have your own identity as a coach, but you have to have players to execute. Look at how many players he's had to kind of like quote unquote discipline for them to play up to standard. Ndombele, 60 million. They have to sit down because, and you see some of the things that this boy does sometimes on the field until he begins to get disciplined. Those are things that a good team he was trying to do that Pogba nonsense. They will take that ball from you, boom, before you know it, you're down 1-0.
We go
The difference between a player like Ndombele or Pogba and someone like De Bruyne is just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. I mean, when he was winning games and he was at the top of the table with the same players. Once some players stepped up, he tried to now incorporate that, push Kane forward, put Ali where he's supposed to be. But
against what team?
The quality is not there. The quality is just when you guys said that Spurs to win the league earlier in the season, I said you can go back and look at it. I said they don't have the players. They're about 3 or 4 players short of trying to win this EPL. Because look at now. I've got the Rabona. I went and got the red card.
Let Kyle get a word in now.
Let me. Okay, so Kyle Blundell, do you think? I mean, maybe Paget has a point, right? I have my own issue about Mourinho, but Eric Dyer, Højbjerg, Sergio Aurier, Sanchez, are they good enough for a top 6 team? And is it Mourinho's fault?
I respect Mourinho for what he's won and what he's done in football because he has done some incredible things, but what's going on at Tottenham reminds me of his last 6 months at Chelsea and his last 6 months. Identical. And I know you say that, the players good enough, but obviously we're not in the same position as Tottenham, but let's compare it. For example, Carlo took over us and he had a midfield of Fabian Delphine, Jay Gomez and Tom Davis. And Tom Davis has become probably one of our most important players this season.
Absolutely.
He's become a brick wall in midfield. And I get football's different, tactics are different. But for me, you're 2-0 up and look, there's not something I've took away from the last few interviews of the players, and certainly Hugo Lloris, the captain of Tottenham. What did he come out and say? We were too defensive. It's the same old story. Too defensive, too defensive. And I know it worked for them, but you've got to open up. They did it against us. They scored 4 goals, but they didn't play attacking football. It's just we decided to not mark the tallest player on the pitch from corners, and they paid the price. City, they obviously that's different. You can maybe make an excuse for playing defensive against City, but when you're 2-0 up, you need to change the game. You need to win the game. You need to put it to bed early. Any team, Everton, Liverpool, any team would know. You put the game at Chelsea. Any team, you don't have to be a top team. No, put the game to bed. Put the game to bed and it's over. And I don't think it was down to mentality. I thought the setup they played was just too slow. It was too defensive. It's the same old story with him. It's too defensive. He did it United, and I think his magic's wearing off to what he was. I think his magic's wearing off, and they were good at the start of the season, but I don't know what's happened. Kane doesn't look the same player that he was at the start. He doesn't look like he's having fun. And Ndombele looked brilliant at the start. Now he looks fed up. The whole team looks fed up. And they were losing games under Poch, but that spirit never went. That spirit, that determination, that football style brand never went under Poch. But it looks to have gone completely under Mourinho.
I think, George, let me ask you this question. What should Harry Kane do? Because here we are right now. Let me give you context for Harry Kane. What's going on with Harry Kane? Harry Kane won't play Champions League football next year. Harry Kane has 2 years left on his contract. Harry Kane is a player who deserves to be playing Champions League for either Chelsea, United, or City, or somewhere else. He needs to be. He's that quality level. He would get 30, 40 goals a season if he played for Chelsea, City, or even Man United. That's true.
I mean,
what does Harry do at this point in time?
It's funny. One of the guys in leadership at my job, one of our high up directors, he's a Spurs fan, and he says it every time. Even when Spurs are winning games, he was like, "It's Jose Mourinho. They're gonna go back in the shell." And I don't know if it's that the people that love Jose Mourinho don't like hearing that. They don't like hearing that he's a defensive coach, because he is. That's what he does. That's how
I agree with that. I agree with that.
But,
yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's become this coordinated effort to just say, "Oh, he just has players that don't listen to him. These players do stupid things." But if you know what, I'll give him credit for. In that game, he actually did something that I said he didn't do in the last game, but he did it late. He put it in like for like. One of his strikers wasn't firing. He replaced him with Vinicius. I was like, okay, that's good, but it came too late. It came too late when Dinamo had already taken the game by the scruff and they were just controlling the game, and they completely just took Spurs out of it. But to go to your question regarding Harry Kane has to leave. I would love Harry Kane on my team. Harry Kane is great.
Please buy him so we can get Haaland.
Yeah, sure. He is a prototypical number 9. He's strong in the air. He's shot from outside the box. He needs to leave like tomorrow. Immediately after the season, I know he's tied into this contract. He needs to go sit down with his agent and say, "Get me out of here now. I'm not winning anything here."
That's what you need to say. Get me to Everton.
But this is actually a serious problem because Harry is 28 now.
Yep. He's 27. He's going to be 28 soon, I think.
He's going to be 28 this summer.
Yeah.
This is the last time he can get a contract. So if he signs a contract now, 3-year contract, he's going to be 31. And with his injury issues, his football lifespan is shortly closing. Does he become a guy who scores many goals but doesn't win?
Daniel Levy is not going to let him go.
He's going to go. He needs to go to Daniel Levy, have his agent sit down with him and say, "Listen, if you don't release me now, I'm gone next year for free. Get what you can get for me now, or you get nothing for me." It's that simple.
There's another twist to this story I want to introduce. The problem right now is that without Champions League football, Tottenham need Champions League because of their stadium that they built.
Yep.
They're hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. So they need money because there's no Champions League football. They ain't getting that revenue. And in fact, they may not even get Europa League revenue.
That's why I say you need to go to Daniel Levy and say, "Go get as much as you can get from me now, or else."
But you see what Spurs are doing, though. The rumors already out there. They slapped this $150 million price tag on him. And they're pricing him out of the market.
Listen.
No one's going to pay that.
No one's paying $150 million.
This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen, right? If they don't sell him this summer, when they finally get rid of Jose, because they put Jose on a 5-year contract, which the fans are going to revolt against them. So they're going to have to buy Jose's contract out. They are probably going to lose Harry Kane and maybe Son. Bale is going to go back and find somebody else to buy him. Now you have no quality, and next year you're going to be fighting relegation with or without him.
Yeah, Son is too ambitious. He's not staying if they're not in competition. Yeah, he's not staying.
To kind of wrap up this segment,
they're going to be fighting relegation with or without Mourinho. Mark my word.
To wrap this point up, I'm not a Jose fan, but I will say one thing: the players have some responsibility for that game on Thursday. I mean, they have some responsibility to win that game.
They had chances, though. Did you watch the game? They did have. Harry Kane had some chances, though. They had chances. They just didn't convert. And I think it was too late. A little too late is what it was. I'm sorry, Kyle. Go ahead.
The problem is, Carl, is like, this is, for me, is you can look. The difference is if and I don't know, but if Tottenham had played lovely attacking football and just got beat and they were the better side, I think Tottenham fans would walk away and go, "Look, it's horrible that we lost, but fair enough, on to the rest of the season." But it's so negative, and I've said this for months. They're gonna sack him. They're waiting for that City game, that cup final, to get rid of him. Because he's still got a cup final, and when he loses that to City, when Pep absolutely embarrasses him, I think they'll just be, on you, you're gone. Because it's.
But if they win, he stays.
But the problem is, I think it's better for the club. I think Jose can't get the best out of average players. He can't do it. He needs loads and loads of money. We saw it at United. He couldn't get the best out of a Jesse Lingard, out of them kind of players. And where, for example, I don't want to just bring Everton into the conversation for the sake of it, but we've seen Carlo. Calvert-Lewin's getting 5 goals a season before Carlo came in. He's now he scored 34 goals under Carlo. Richarlison scored almost 30 under Carlo. Tom Davis is getting, his numbers defensively are phenomenal. Michael Keane, but he's for me a world-class coach can get the best out of any player in the world because they're a world-class coach.
I think to wrap this up, Patrick, the issue you have, Jose has right now. Here's the issue, right? You have a Chelsea team under Tuchel that clearly is going somewhere with challenge next year, undoubtedly, right? You have a United team, much as I don't like Man United, who look good on any day, can beat anybody. Yep. And then you have Guardiola on the other side, who also has a top tier team. So how does he now compete with these three coaches? And then you throw in Liverpool again on top of that next year when they come back in.
And
It's a difficult ask. Then you got Everton who are there. You got Arsenal who are going to come back. It's going to be a tough ask. So something has to change at Tottenham. Either the coach gets players he wants, or Levy does something unusual. But let's kind of leave it there and talk about who do we think is going to win the Europa League? Is it Arsenal, United, Villarreal, or Emery, who always wins it every single year?
Why are you mentioning teams that I don't like to win this? Ajax is going to win it.
Ajax, okay. I just said Ajax. Tell who you think is going to win it.
I'm kind of conflicted between Arsenal and Man U. I like Mikel Arteta. He needs to win it. He doesn't need to win it to keep his job, but it would be nice for Arsenal to win something. But knowing Arsenal, they're not going to win it. So if I have to pick one between the two, I will go with Man U because they have the player. They're in a good form. And they have a good coach. Oleg is not a top-tier coach, but he's a good coach. He's making the best out of what he's got. So I would go with them because the form is good. They have the players, and they have the coach.
Ade and Carl, what do you guys think? Who's going to win it?
Oh, man. I mean, United are the favorites for me. I think on a good day, I think Arsenal is going to have a difficult time with Slava, but I think they'll beat them. Slava's very good defensively, very good defensive team.
Yeah.
But I think Arsenal beats them over two legs. And then if Arsenal and United get together, man, I think Arsenal finds a way, man. I'm sorry to disappoint United fans. I think Arsenal finds a way, man. I don't know. But that's the only competition for me is United and Arsenal. That's it.
Yeah. Carl Blundell, what do you think? Arsenal or United? Villarreal.
And I'll tell you what.
Really?
Wow. I think Unai Emery wasn't backed enough at Arsenal, to be honest. I think he was doing pretty, for me, we've saw it, that Arsenal squad, for me, I think he was doing the best job he could with that squad. Nothing's happened, nothing's progressed with that squad. And for me, I think I love watching Unai Emery's teams. I watched him very closely when he was in Spain, and he was phenomenal to watch the first time. And then I watched him in France at PSG. He built a good squad. And then I watched him at Arsenal, and he looked to be building a very good squad. To be fair, he looked like things were working out. And then I don't know what happened. I think the dressing room, he lost the dressing room, but Villarreal have looked really good at times this season. They've looked pretty decent, and I've really enjoyed watching them. Plus, they have Danny Pereiro. He's one of my favourite players in the world. So maybe I'm a bit biased, and I think I really love Villarreal. I think they've come on with some.
But Carl, can I ask you this though? In La Liga, they don't score enough goals, and they've considered 30 and they've scored 37. So how do they stop a team like Arsenal going forward?
That's a good point, but like I said, form goes out the window in the Champions League. Or the Europa League. We saw last year in the Champions League, Lyon finished 8th, I think, in the Liga, and ripped City apart.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like that. That's a low blow. That's a low blow, Kyle. That's a low blow, buddy.
It's about them one games. You know what I mean? It's them one games. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter about form.
That's true.
Plus,
good point.
I think Arsenal, for me, I think there's a patterned way to beat Arsenal, and Olympiacos failed, Benfica failed. Benfica scored a few goals and then didn't close up shop. We beat Arsenal by closing up shop. City beat Arsenal by closing up shop. You score a goal past Arsenal, you close up shop and you win. Tottenham didn't even do that, which was surprising. Tottenham played attacking football and he lost, which is mad to think. But you close up shop because Arsenal haven't got that creative spark to find them passes but United just play when they've got to play against a great team, they don't attack enough. And I don't think their players can do it on the big stage. For me, we've seen it this season. Bruno's got, I think, 1 goal against anyone in the top 6. Rashford looks a different player. He's not as good, I think, as last year. Pogba, it's about if he can stay fit. And Martial, I'm better than Martial. So I can't see a world where United are going to win it. And Ollie, I just don't see a world.
Yeah, I think my point of view is, I think for United, they have to get over this hoodoo of semifinals, because they get to semifinals every competition, and they fall flat. Arsenal have gone to finals and won the finals. So if it's an Arsenal versus United, I'm going to lean Arsenal. But I like the point about Unai Emery, who's the king of the competition, with Sevilla and what they can do. So we'll kind of see what happens. I want to quickly move ahead and talk about two things quickly. Chelsea and City have a massive game next week. Massive game next week for Chelsea and City. It's the UEFA Women's Champions League quarterfinals. So it's going to be Chelsea versus Wolfsburg and Barcelona versus City. For me, Chelsea and City behind Lyon are probably the three best teams in Europe, women's teams in Europe. Chelsea and City are playing at a level that's beyond probably every other team in European football. The level at which they're playing in the Women's Super League is phenomenal. If you watch their games are so technical, so clinical, possession-based. They don't concede goals. I think they conceded 8 and 9 goals in about 15 games. They scored 58 and 54 goals. They've only lost 1 game, and they play each other like 3 times, throughout the whole season. So this week, Wednesday, was going to be Wolfsburg versus Chelsea. Wolfsburg got to the final last year against Lyon, who are the best team in Europe, and then Barcelona versus City. So watch out for that game. It's a really good game in terms of where both clubs are in terms of revolutionizing English football, both at the senior level, Premier League, at the youth level, FA Cup and EDS, and also the women's team. It's a complete change. It's about money. It's about investment. It shows you what good money and investment does to a club. Changes the whole dynamic. So watch out for that game between City and Barcelona and Chelsea and Wolfsburg. Okay. Let's talk about the Europa Conference League. Does everybody know what that is? I can explain what it is, basically.
I get it. I get it.
Okay. So let me give everybody context, first of all. So UEFA have decided in their wisdom to create this third competition. So you have Champions League, Europa League, and then you have Conference League. And the way it works is the same thing. You have 32 teams, groups of 8 groups of 4, Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League. Entry into the Europa Conference League is by winning the EFL Cup. So if Tottenham win the EFL Cup, they get into the Conference League if they don't finish in the 5th spot.
Tottenham won't be in it. Tottenham can't be in the EFL Cup. If you finish in the top 6.
They finish they finish outside the top 5, then they will be in the Conference League Cup.
No, I mean the EFL Cup next season. Like they don't. If they win the EFL Cup this season, then yeah. But the problem is next season, Premier League teams who are in the top 6 can't be in the FA. No, they can be in the FA Cup, but not the League Cup. They took them out, didn't they? To stop.
So the FA, so the entry is if Tottenham, if you finish outside the top 5 and you win the EFL Cup. So if Tottenham win the EFL Cup and finish 6th, they get into the Europa Conference League. That's entry. And all the other teams from like Latvia, all the smaller countries get into the Conference League. Now there's a slight change. So you know how the Europa League teams, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, the 3rd place Europa League team, right, goes to play the 2nd place. Goes to play the hold on a second. The 2nd place Europa League team plays the 3rd place Champions League team for a playoff to play the round of 16. It's crazy. So think about it. Let me share the graph here so we can see what it is here. Hold on a sec. Pull this up. Here we go. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the 3 groups right here: Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League. The 3rd place Champions League spot will play the 2nd place Europa League spot, right, to determine who plays in the round of 16 versus the top spot in the Europa League. The Conference League is made up of the group stages, the top, like Tottenham and other smaller teams across Europe, who will now play against the 2nd row teams. The knockout phase will be between the winner, the 2nd place team of the Conference League versus the 3rd place team of Europa League. They will play for the round of 16 qualifiers to go to the quarterfinals. So they're basically eliminating all these pre-qualification that you go through in August. It's basically going to be direct entry, and then you have playoffs between the 3rd place team in Europa League, the 2nd place team in Conference League to go to the knockout phases. Now, what does this mean for us in England? It means that Tottenham and Liverpool, if they don't finish in the top 4 or top 5, will end up probably playing, or Everton, in the Conference League.
I'll take it.
And all this is because of money. All this is because of money.
Hey, teams like Wolves and they'll take this, man. It's all about money, but a chance to play in Europe means more revenue for teams.
Means more revenue.
I think it saturates. Sorry, I'll go first as I already started. I think it saturates the
Calendar.
eliteness of the Europa League and the Champions League. That's what it does. It kind of dilutes it a little bit, but it's all about money. In a year when COVID just happened, you're looking to get more money. So I don't blame them for doing this. This is just it's pure revenue. Those other teams qualifying for it are going to get more money because everyone needs money right now. So and then with the talk recently about these big clubs trying to form their own Super League. It's what spurred this on. So it's all about money. We get it, but it's a chance for all these teams that don't see Europe at all to at least say, hey, we're in Europe. We're playing in Europe. I think that's what it's all about. It's money.
But you know what though?
So I do have a question, right? So
yeah,
to clarify this up, so the top 4 goes to Champions League. That's normal, right?
Correct.
5 and 6 goes to UEFA. That's normal.
5 goes to Europa.
Okay.
5.
So
okay.
6, 7 goes to Conference League.
6 goes to Conference League.
Okay.
But if a top 4 team wins the FA Cup, so City, Chelsea, United win the FA Cup, then 6 and 7 go into the Conference League.
Okay.
So let's assume right now that let's say that Chelsea finished 4th, West Ham finished 5th, West Ham get Europa League, Everton finished 6th, and Liverpool finished 7th. Liverpool and Everton will get into the Conference League.
So so anything after 7, you get nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, so that's what Tottenham is gonna get. Nothing.
I thought
come outside.
This is my explanation for the madness, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Tottenham's next schedule for the rest of the season. The next game is against Villa.
We're gonna get to that in a minute, yeah.
They're playing against Villa. I don't see them winning that. They probably get it taught. They play Newcastle. They probably beat Newcastle. Then they have to beat Man U. They play Man U.
Yep.
Everton, City. Well, that's a Caribou Cup. Sorry, that doesn't count. Then they have Sheffield, which they may win that one. They have Leeds, Wolves, Aston Villa, and Leicester. That's their last 4 games.
Well, let's talk about that right now. Let's go to the top 4 race as we see it right now. Right?
Can I just speak on one
point.
thing, Carl?
Go ahead,
about Conference League? Because I thought Adi said a very good point where teams like Everton and Wolves will enjoy this because we're at an advantage over than Liverpool. We're more of an advantage than Liverpool, Tottenham because we have Carlo, and we can finish 7th, but we've got such an advantage with Carlo because players want to play under Carlo, and even if Liverpool don't finish in the top 7, you have Real Madrid and all them going for you, players are going to go to Zidane, they're going to go to Pep, but we have Carlo. Also we have James, we have a project of big spending, a new stadium on the horizon, so we have so much. It's fun for a player like to come for. Look, we want Lozano. We really want Lozano from Napoli, and I think if we get even if we get the Conference League, I see us getting him. Also, I don't know, like I just want us to get Europe, even if it's Europa Conference League. I just want us to get it.
Yeah.
Well, the benefit of the Conference League is that if you win it, you get to the Europa League, so you don't even have to even finish top 5 next year if you want. If that's the case, so let's say even Wolves goes into the Conference League for some reason, if they finish 7th. They can actually get an automatic qualification seed into the Europa League next year. And then if they win that, they get into the Champions League in the year after. So what UEFA is doing is pretty much competing against the local leagues to figure out a way to get in UEFA competition and also get money for the lower league club. So it's an interesting conversation that we're having, right?
Yeah, but I have a quick question about that, though. So
next season, Charlie, next season.
Yeah, so some of these teams don't have the number of play because they have to play. Are they playing on Thursdays like Europa League also?
Because what I've heard is going to be the Thursdays like Europa League to say maybe like 2 competitions running simultaneously at the same time, Europa and Conference League.
This is going to weaken some teams in the league, especially the EPL, because they have to go and play on Thursday, and they have to come back and play the league.
But that's the current case. Isn't that the current case for teams that play on Thursday anyway?
Yeah, but come on.
There's some teams that can get into Europa League, but because they are Champions League and Europa experienced teams, they can handle both. But if you put like what was their name? West Ham. Do they have the personnel to do both?
I think they'll cope, man. It's all about money, bro. The money will make you cope. The money will make you cope quick.
So this is where, Paji, this is where
I mean, how many players? Say, for instance, they get a flush of like 80 to 100 million pounds for finishing fifth. I don't know how much they're going to get. How many players are they going to get to compensate for the quality they need to do both?
All you need is 2 or 3 more good qualities, and you're good. Because you're 11, you have your top 16, and then you have 1 or 2 more players.
Bro. Money solves a lot of things.
But I think the point you're making is the fact that yes, the money is going to be there from the Premier League. The Premier League gives everybody like 100 million pounds every single year for just being in the Premier League, and you get the position awards for how much if you finish, you get more money. Yeah. So West Ham can buy more players to compete in the Conference League because who they're going to play against are going to be weaker anyway. The issue is going to be their position in the Premier League. Does that take away from their position in the Premier League? That's what you're talking about, right?
Right, because it's not just about the money, the rigor. You playing on Thursday and weekend is different from the reason Leicester was winning the EPL because they were not in Europe. But once they enter Europe, what happens? Yeah, this season they've been decent because they've had, other teams have been off form and all that good stuff. But it's not a given that the fact that your Cities and your Chelseas and your Man U's can play in Europe and play in the league is gonna have the same sustainability as a West Ham going into it.
Yeah, but
but then it depends on who they find in the market. I'm just saying the rigor, because even though you can buy 3 or 4 extra players, but you're still gonna need like your top 8 players to come and retain that position.
I get you, Fisayo. And I think the same thing happened to Wolves as well. Wolves got into Europe and they're forming the EPL struggle, but I think it's the price you have to pay. There's always a price to pay in everything. So the price you pay is you're going to have to find a way to manage both. Eventually, in the long run, you figure it out. If you can't figure it out, then you drop. That's what it is.
And you can buy better player because you're playing in Europe. Because more better players want to play for you now. It's a good problem to have. Let's put it out.
Yeah, basically.
Like for me, I think this UEFA Conference League, it's like a good build for teams. Because I think the problem I think a lot of Prem teams have had is it's always Europa League and you've got to finish 5th, and now there's a new European League. Yeah, fans are going to make fun of you, but let's be honest, fans make fun of you for anything. You can win 3-1 and be like, haha, you conceded a goal. So you just take it, don't you? Take it on the chin. But, for me, I'd be glad to be in this, but like I just want to say, like, I think we cope better in this kind of competition than we would in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Because the last time we were in the Europa League, we played Atalanta and we lost 5-1, and I think it was like 3-1 the game after. They didn't even have Gomez against us, or they didn't have anyone. But the good thing about this is for us, I think we've got a very good squad, but the only thing we're missing is a right back and a right winger. That's the only thing I think we miss as a club, and we can bring in new players and maybe a few more players to fix the squad, and we can play the likes of a Gylfi Sigurdsson into a Conference League. Respect to the teams, obviously, but you're not playing, Atalanta. You're not playing the world-class Champions League side that might drop in. You're playing sides that aren't good enough for Europa League. They're the only teams you've got to worry about realistically. So maybe a Rangers, maybe an unfortunate Milan side or an unfortunate side that have just not been up to scratch. So this is good for teams who are ambitious and want to go forward, like an Everton, like a West Ham, like a Lyon in France, a Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's a really good stepping stone, and I like this competition. I really like it.
So this is where I think, Ty, just to wrap this part up, this is where the power of the Premier League comes into play. Because if you look at what's going on right now in Europa League, right, you have United, Arsenal, and frankly, Tottenham should have been there, and even Leicester should have been there. They were serious, right? Yeah. You have the Champions League, you have Liverpool, City, and Chelsea there, right? If the Conference League was live today, you probably have an Everton or West Ham probably in those conferences. You could have 6 or 7 Premier League teams in all European competitions deep.
Yeah.
Which showed you the power of the Premier League. Look at Spanish, apart from Real Madrid, everybody else is out. Germany, Dortmund, and Bayern Munich are probably hanging by their tails. So I think it's good for us as fans. We see more football, and it's good for the Premier League in terms of revenue as well. Okay,
I think it's great.
Let's talk about top 4 race. It's brutal.
Is it really top 4 or top 2, 3, 4?
You're very funny. You're very unfunny. You're very, very unfunny.
I try.
Let me set the stage for us to kind of talk about. So United 57 points, Leicester 29. 56 points. Chelsea 51, West Ham 48, Everton 46, Tottenham 45, and Liverpool 43. Who makes that last two or the last three spots? Because I still think everything's open between second and really everybody else.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough,
Ty?
man.
So I mean, Man U is gonna stay. I have a feeling that some way somehow Leicester may drop to fourth or maybe even fifth. It depends on what happened with West Ham. I didn't think. Remember, we've had this conversation. I don't think West Ham will finish in the top four when they were in the top four. That some way somehow they're gonna find themselves out of it. They're just not used to it. I'm hoping that Chelsea can finish third and push Tottenham down to fourth. But the problem Chelsea is gonna have is our last 4 games is the toughest in the league as far as the last 4 games, which is City, Arsenal, Leicester, and Aston Villa to finish the league. That's the last 4 games.
Yeah.
Before that, we got a good, the next 4 games is actually pretty good. West Brom, Crystal Palace, Brighton, West Ham, and Fulham. So the next 5, we got to get 3 points out of every game in the next 5, and then worry about the last 4 after that, So to wrap that up, I think the table is going to finish the way it is right now, except Chelsea moving to third and Leicester probably moving to fourth. I still think Liverpool will finish outside of the top 4. And Liverpool and West Ham will finish outside of the top 4, I mean.
Ajay, what do you think? Or what do you hope?
My hope is that we go second though, and I'll tell you why. That the more time that Man U spends in Europe playing on Thursday will affect them playing on the weekend. And when you couple that with Ole's experience or inexperience or whatever, some mistakes he made in the past where he could have actually had more room, like, when we played them, when he went and he had a 4-goal advantage and still came and started his starters and he knew he had to play all players on the Sunday. That's inexperience. He should have rested those guys. But I also think, because one thing I told Uche was that for me, before we played Leeds and Brighton were the only 2 teams I was scared of, because you never know what they bring to the table. They're unpredictable the way they play. The other teams, we know what they're bringing, and Man U is going to play against, the other 3 guys are going to play against each other also. So, but realistically, I think we're going to end up third. And I think that Leicester is going to end up fourth, and West Ham is going to, they're going to fizzle out. Okay. So I think City, Manor, I don't like to call them Man U, Manor, Chelsea, and Leicester.
Okay. Ade, what do you think?
I think so. I spent a good 2 minutes looking at the schedule remaining. I think Man U will win all but maybe one of their last games. So that keeps them in second place. That keeps them in second place. If they stay in second place, the games Leicester has to play, the toughest among them is United and Chelsea. So their fate is in their own hand. To finish third, they beat Chelsea, and maybe they somehow find a way to beat United, they stay third. If not, they lose their 6-point advantage because they're up by 6 or 5 points right now. So they lose that. If they lose those 2 games, then Chelsea leapfrogs them. Chelsea has some really difficult games. So I don't know where you guys see second happening, because that ain't happening. I see possibly third, but that's depending on the way Leicester finishes. If they don't finish strong, then yes, Chelsea comes in. The best Chelsea can do is fourth. If we're being real, based on their schedule, unless you guys are just saying, hey, Man City is nothing, Arsenal is nothing, all these teams are nothing, we're going to beat them. Good luck with that attitude. But it's a tough road for Chelsea, but I see them being fourth in the league.
George, when we log off, come outside.
Dude, I'm being real. I'm just calling the schedule as it is. I'm looking at the schedule. That's all I'm doing.
Charlie asked a question. Is that a Wolves shirt? I thought you supported City. You want to answer?
Oh yeah. Oh, Charlie, you're new. Wait, is he in England?
Yeah.
Charlie, my good man. So Wolves, I love Nuno. Nuno, when he came into the league, I was watching Nuno before. I'm gonna take only 2 minutes because I know we're short for time. But when he came into the league, I've loved him since before. I love their manager. I love his attitude. He's always humble, win or lose. And I just adopted the team. So I have like a mini affection for Wolves, but City is always number one. Everybody knows. But I love Wolves because their manager, he's just the best. You watch him post game, before the game, after the game. Humble guy. He rarely ever talks about, he just talks about the game. I love his attitude, and that's why I love that team.
Yeah.
I suspect Yinka George is also going to buy a Fulham shirt very soon.
I love Scott Parker. I do. You saw my post.
I respect
but that's
Scott
for another
Parker.
topic. That's for another topic. Hey, what did you say, Kyle?
I said I respect Scott Parker. I think he's a great
Thank
coach.
you, bro. I respect that dude.
Top 4, what do you think?
I think top 4. I think City might just win the league. It looks tough for them, but I think they will win it. I think United will finish second. I think the top 2's been pretty on for a long time. I think Chelsea will finish third. They look really good, Chelsea. Tuchel's got them playing. And like I said, you know what I mean? They don't look like they're going to lose. If they draw them last 4 games, it's 4 points gained. Not any points lost, really. It's 4 points gained, which is still good for how consistent everyone else is. I think 4th will be Leicester. 5th will be us. 6th will be West Ham. 7th will be the shite. And 8th, I think 8th will be Tottenham.
Okay, thanks a lot. I did some. So, I do that. I have the spreadsheet that I keep of all the top 6 teams, and I kind of game out what's going on each game, what I think is going to happen with the points, who's going to win a point, lose a point. I've done it for United, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham, Everton, Tottenham. I did over, and based on what I think that United probably are going to get 78 points, so they'll probably come second. I think Leicester may end up with 76 points and may come third. It all depends on what happens in the game against Chelsea. That's going to be critical, and how they end up. That 6-point gap could go away if they don't win those games. The 4th spot is between Chelsea, Liverpool, West Ham. And the key to that's happening is this game on Sunday, West Ham versus Arsenal. All Chelsea fans better go and pray in Oxon Hill for West Ham to beat Arsenal. Because if West Ham beat Arsenal, Arsenal beat West Ham, If Arsenal beat West Ham, it knocks West Ham out of the picture completely of top 4. They're out. They're done. They can't make it. It's because of the games that they have coming up. Liverpool, again, and Chelsea are probably going to end up fighting for that top 4 with Leicester. Those are the 3 that will probably fight for the top 4. Because I have Chelsea winning almost all their games except for probably the one at City. So they win against West Brom, they win against Palace, they win against Brighton, they win against they probably maybe draw West Ham away. They beat Fulham. Okay, maybe City beat them. If they beat City, game over, right? They get top 4. Arsenal is tricky at home or away. Leicester is another tricky one. Villa, they probably beat them in 3 points. So they probably end up getting like 16 to 18 points extra to the current total. So the battle for top 4, I think, is Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester, and West Ham. But this Sunday, pray, Arsenal fans, beat West Ham. That happens, West Ham goes away. Everton, I think, are going to finish either 5th or 6th. I think Tottenham are probably going to drop out 7th or 8th. And West Ham will probably compete with Everton for that Conference League spot. So it's going to be very tight.
You can see with us, though, is the real problem for us now is we've lost Decore, who I always say Alan is Alan's the neat special player in midfield, but for me Decore is the most important. That's what we left against Chelsea. I've said this, if we had Decore, I don't think we would have lost 2-0 because Decore is smart. He's got the energy and he bullies the midfield. And without Decore, we've lost our legs in midfield. And Gomez horrifies me. Gomez absolutely terrifies me when he plays football because I've never seen him
1 second away from a red card.
Yeah, I've never seen a man as well give a ball away as much as him. I'm fat and I'm faster than Gomez, and that might be going a bit, but I am. I do not care what anybody says. That man turns, and you know what? Saying he turns like a snail is being mean to the snail. He's so slow. We're missing James, and that's the only thing that worries me, because I've said this, and people can slag James off all they want and say he's injury prone, but nobody for my team right now can create like James. Maybe Digne, but he's still not as good as James. James finds a pass from anywhere. He's got eyes everywhere.
He's like a De Bruyne light. Yeah,
he's so good when he's playing.
Yeah, I mean the only, again, going to top 4, let's wrap up this segment up. I mean, the only thing is Chelsea's back line has significantly improved. So if you look at their form guide is going up, right, as opposed to going flat. So their form guide is going up. Liverpool's kind of picking up, but they're kind of struggling. West Ham, again, this Sunday will tell us everything about West Ham. If they beat Arsenal, then the game is on. If they don't beat Arsenal, it's basically over. So it's going to be really tight. Now, there's one little quirk, Ade, Ty, and Paget, that you guys may not be aware of, and Carl. So before, if teams are level on points, it's goal difference, right? Right now, Chelsea's goal difference is superior to everybody else, in top 4 or below, even against Leicester. But Premier League have introduced this new rule about head-to-head. For the Champions League spots, for the Europa League spots, and for the relegation spots, if teams are matched on points, head-to-head now measures it. Who goes head? So, for example, let's say Chelsea are on same points with Liverpool. The question now will be, when they played each other in the league, who won, and by how many goals, what was the goal difference in that game? So that's another issue again about its head-to-head. Now, fortunately for Chelsea, you guys beat Liverpool 1-0, right? But Liverpool beat you guys 2-0 on the other side. So the question now is, how do you kind of manage? How does Chelsea manage to do that? That's another.
I got a question as well. So when you say level, are you saying if they're level on points and level on goal difference?
No. If they're level on points, on points, goal difference becomes second. What comes first is head-to-head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Goal difference, you go to head.
So it's points, head-to-head, and then goal difference.
Yes.
Oh wow.
See, that's confused. That's weird for me, because
that's very weird.
Leicester haven't beat us this season. We beat Leicester away and took points off them. Oh, goodness, we probably should have took 3 points. We took 3 points off Chelsea, a point off United, 3 off Tottenham, 3 off Arsenal. So, it's a weird situation.
Yeah. So that example, let's say Everton and Tottenham are neck and neck on 69 points to go for the Europa League. They'll come down to, when you played Tottenham, what was your score? Did you beat Tottenham? It was 3 points.
Yeah,
yes.
It was
Did you lose against
1-0.
them? Yeah. So if it's 1-0, so if they play you again and it's 1-0 and it's equal, then they go to goal difference.
Oh wow.
Oh
yeah, it's crazy.
But Kyle, right? Real quick. So the reason why I don't think Liverpool will end up in the top 4, the next game is Arsenal. After that, they go to Villa. Villa comes to them. They go to Arsenal.
Correct.
Villa, Leeds, they get no pass through, which is kind of easy. Then they play Man U and Southampton.
Correct. So my analysis, and again, I said Arsenal, they get a point. That's what I think, right? Against Leeds, they probably win 3 points because Leeds are open and then they find a way. Against United, they get a point maximum. If they do that and win the rest of their games, they still don't make. They're still that's the most top 69 points is the most they can get. Yeah, that's with 1 point against Arsenal and 1 point against United. Now, if they beat Arsenal and beat United, then wahala day for Chelsea and for everybody else.
Like,
so, but right now, based on form, Chelsea again trajectory is up. Right, the form guide is very good, and they seem to be building momentum. And then because the Champions League falls against teams like West Brom, I think Crystal Palace, you can afford to manage those games properly, as opposed to Liverpool, who have Arsenal, and I believe they have another tough team on the backside. So all these things play into that top 4 race, plus head-to-head, plus it's going to be very interesting.
What's scary, Carl? I'd rather play the big teams than all the small teams, to be honest. Because we go up against the big teams and we make a good account to ourselves. We got beat by Chelsea, but it wasn't down to us playing bad. It was just Chelsea in phenomenal form right now. And then we played Burnley, and we were completely outclassed. You know what I mean? And it's happened with us. That's the only thing that if we miss out on Champions League or even Europe, that's cost us is inconsistency. But again, I have to go back to that point about James. Without him, we were so void of goals. At the start of the season, when we were top, it was 10 games in, but we had 8 games in. We'd won every single game. Prem and Carabao Cup, scored almost 30 goals. Calvert-Lewin was the top goal scorer in the world. You know what I mean? And James can create And when Calvert-Lewin and James are together, they're phenomenal. James can make Calvert-Lewin into something special, and that's the only thing that scares me, is not having James can really damage us into the top 4 race.
But now, the biggest advantage that you have, honestly, and anybody here will tell you, I'm a big fan of Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah,
he's one of the few coaches that can make kicks within games and still make a huge difference. He reads the game so well. And like you said earlier, players will go to hell with him just to play for him, you know.
Yeah.
So regardless, I mean, you're going to have injuries, you're going to have things going on, but he'll find a way to figure it out. You know, rarely does he get blown out in a game, man. And rarely does he lose 2-3 games in a row. He will figure it out. I just have so much faith in that guy. You know, so I think Everton would be in Europe for sure. Maybe not Champions League, but at least in Europa.
Or Conference League, one of the three.
Maybe.
No, money on. Adi?
Yeah. Fourth spot.
Who's your money on?
For fourth in the league?
Yeah.
Oh. Chelsea.
Okay.
I think Chelsea's fourth.
Yeah.
What, in EPL? We're talking about EPL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already said it. I think Chelsea's fourth in the EPL. I think Leicester. I don't think Leicester budges. I think Leicester falters a little bit, but I don't think they drop that much. I think there's a lot of play in here. Leicester's out of every major competition in Europe right now, right?
Correct, yeah.
So they only have the league to concentrate on. I feel like for them, they can maintain that third spot. With Chelsea, you know, Chelsea still has to have one mind in, you know, Champions League and, you know, but I don't think they drop off that much because they're so solid in the back. So I think they get that fourth spot. I think Liverpool, but the tricky thing is, I think Liverpool is going to climb a bit.
That's the issue.
Don't say that.
I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm sorry. I think they climb a bit. I think they climb. I don't know if they get past Everton, but I think they climb up a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's the eye. I think, again, I think the West Ham game this Sunday, Ty and Ajay, are critical for you guys because Arsenal win that game, they knock out West Ham from the top.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
That's
done.
true.
Right.
So Ajay has to be an Arsenal fan this weekend.
He has to wear an Arsenal t-shirt still. Last topic for tonight. Tomorrow, FA Cup begins. Just real quick.
Woohoo!
Almost Southampton. Who gets that done?
I want Southampton to win. I think they need some positive vibes, man. I'm just gonna go with my heart and say Southampton.
Ty, who do you think is going to get that?
Southampton.
Who again?
Bournemouth, Southampton.
So Southampton is gonna beat them.
It looks easy, but Southampton, they have not been playing well, though.
No, they haven't. Cal, who do you think?
Yeah, boy, it's Bournemouth.
Hey, you'll see.
Southampton.
I'm going to go Bournemouth with this one, man, guys.
That's two for you. That's two for you now that you're going against the grain.
I'm going to go Bournemouth because I have Southampton. Bournemouth. I like them, and I think they're playing well in the Championship. They're playing some good stuff. Those are good players, but you know, Southampton have injury. They have Ings injured. They have a couple of people injured, so we'll see. And then Sheffield United versus Chelsea. I mean, that should be an easy game for Chelsea, right?
Nothing is ever easy, but I think we should win. Because we don't score a lot of goals, so that's the problem.
But the Sheffield United, no manager been fired.
Those guys beat Manuel, so.
Carl, what do you think, Sheffield or Chelsea?
Chelsea, only because I think Sheffield United have gone with the Norwich approach, where they know that they're gone, like they're finished. Yeah. So I think they're just gonna take the beating, and then look forward to next season. But I just want to say to the Chris Wilder point, it's absolutely disgusting that they allowed that man to walk. The things he's done for that club, he took them from a bottom place League One side to a Premier League side, nearly got them Europa League with League One type players. And now he's going down. Yeah, that's a sad saying, but he's a great coach, and I hope to God he comes back and manages a good Prem side.
I agree 100%.
They'll be back in APL next year.
They play some good football. I mean, they're unlucky because their margins are always very slim. I think that 5-0 beating they got against the Leicester was the first 5-0 in almost 3 years that Chris Wilder has been there. They've never lost 5-0 or a big scoreline. It's always been 2-1, 2-0, 1-0.
They've lost 17. I think they've lost. I don't know if it's 17, but a lot of their losses have come 1-0. They lost 8. I know they lost 8 games on the bounce 1-0.
Incredible. Okay. Everton versus City. And Carl, you and I talked about this game yesterday on the pod. And we look, check it out. Check out this. What's your handle, Carl?
I'd love Everton to beat them, but I think City will beat us.
What's your handle so we can talk about the video you and I talked about? What's your social handle?
Sorry, what? I can't hear you. What did you say?
What's your social media handle? What's your handle? Where can you find you?
On YouTube, it's The Lone Toffee, and on Twitter, it's the Lone Toffee as well. Or I've got one called Incredible Awobi.
Okay. Yeah, I shared his the video on the podcast on Facebook. So take a look. Really good analysis. Yeah. So Everton.
I just think we haven't got. I think the only way we can beat you is in the air, because Calvert-Lewin is probably one of the best strikers in the world in the air. But I think Pep's too smart to even. I think he's just too smart. And let's be honest, we're in luck, aren't we? You rested your best sides against in the Champions League, and now we've got to face a fully fit Manchester City side. And we've not got a lot of fully fit players. We've got no goalkeeper because Olsen's injured and Pickford's injured. No James, no Decore.
Who's going to be your keeper?
Joao Virginia.
Oh wow. Okay. That swings it. Okay. The last game, Leicester United. That's a big game. That's a massive game. And it's at Leicester. What do you guys think? How do you think with this one?
My hope, you know what it is.
What's your hope?
Leicester. I can't stand Mano. I cannot. And they're not even in London, so it's long distance hate.
Okay, but Hadi, what do you think about this one, Leicester versus United?
It's gonna be Leicester's gonna win. I think Leicester's gonna win. Right. You know what? I really like Leicester. Sorry, give me 1 minute. I really like Leicester. I think I don't know what Leicester's missing. I think they're missing something, but I don't know what it is. I really love that team, and it's more so because I think their midfielder is, as far as this season is concerned, the best defensive midfielder in the game. Indeed. I mean, it used to be Conte, when Conte used to play as a DM, but I think Ndidi is just the best. I love the way he plays the game, and they're really tough, and I think they're missing one piece, but I favor them over United.
So I would pick United, and the reason why I pick United is because of the injury. Barnes is out, and Madison is out. So that's
I didn't know that.
If they had Madison and Barnes, I would have gone Leicester.
Had I changed my mind, I pick United.
So I'll pick United. But you didn't ask me about Chelsea, Sheffield. So I will go with Chelsea, and I'm going to go Giroud starting and Giroud getting 2 goals.
Really, over Sheffield? I'm glad you didn't even ask me who's going to win in Sheffield.
I'm just saying. I'm picking Giroud starting and Giroud getting 2 goals.
That's a ridiculous question. If Chelsea don't beat Sheffield, they should drop out of UEFA Champions League.
Well, actually,
I'm adding extra by saying Giroud will start and get 2 goals.
Do you know what could actually be? And I know I said Sheffield will take a beating, but it could be like Wigan a few years back in 2013. They knew they were going down, and they knew there was basically no chance of them staying up. So they just went for the FA Cup and they won it. They shook City. Bloody hell! All the Everton fans were buying tickets to Wembley in the quarterfinals. I'm not joking.
I remember that.
We all booked hotels. We all booked hotels to go to Wembley, and we got beat.
Wait, but didn't we get a red card? The reason they beat us is because we got a red card, didn't it?
Well, the reason we got a red card, and then also Mancini was also messing up with the team. He was fighting with the players, so that was the last game of the season.
Yeah, that red card really hurt us.
So you could see them. You could possibly see them coming out and playing better than they played all season, but I just don't see it. But it'd be fun to see it.
Sheffield don't score goals. I don't see how they're going to breach that Chelsea back line.
Yeah, that's a problem for them.
Okay. We've covered a lot today, guys. We've covered Champions League draw. We covered Europa League. We talked about Champions League, Women's Champions League. We talked about the Premier League top 4, FA Cup over the past an hour, 45 minutes. This is the end of our show. Next Fan Zone on April 16th, we'll look at semi-final matchups. Hopefully, we have City through. and the Chelsea fans will want their own team to get through. And it may be Bayern versus City, PSG versus City, or Liverpool versus Chelsea, or Chelsea versus Real Madrid, which will be a different discussion to see at that point.
Bayern City.
I actually prefer Bayern City versus Bayern PSG, frankly.
Carl, can I just say, I didn't get to say me United versus Leicester prediction.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Man United 3-0. I think.
Wow.
I think Bruno will get a penalty and he'll score. I think Pogba will score, and I think Luke Shaw will score a worldie.
They almost definitely will get a penalty. Almost definitely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And then World Cup qualifiers. We'll talk about World Cup qualifiers on the 16th, and we'll look at the final versus Tottenham versus City, which may be a big game because of the implications on Jose's future and what's going to happen in the league at that point in time. So until then, Pi, any last words?
Nothing. Olympic qualifying is going on right now. CONCACAF Olympic qualifying is going on, so I'm enjoying that. For me, good luck to all the teams that are in the Champions League, all the big boys, and good luck to all the in the JV League called Europa.
United and Arsenal.
United and Arsenal.
I did, George. Any final thoughts?
I'm excited for Champions League, and I really hope we really destroy Tottenham in that last game of the year.
Yeah,
that's it.
We'll talk about that.
Well, I have one quick remix for the Champions League. We're gonna party like it's 2012. We're gonna party like it's 2000. You know when Prince says 1999, but you know what we did in 2012, right?
Yeah, we know.
So we want to party. I hope I sing that song in June. We're gonna party like it's 2012.
You know what we did? We had a City final, Champions League final. That would be some game, eh?
Say what?
We had a City versus Chelsea final. That would be some game.
That's sweet.
Sweet. I will sleep on Oxen Hill overnight for that game.
We'll watch party. We'll invite Carl from UK.
That's right.
We'll pay for your hotel. You buy the ticket.
Carl, thank you for joining all the way from the UK. I know it's late for you at night. Any last words before we sign up?
Just thanks for coming on, and also I want to just touch on something serious because I know I'm always joking, but I think this is a very serious issue. Glenn Kamara from Rangers last night was racially abused, and I just want to say to Rangers, and rivalry aside with Gerrard acted phenomenally well in that situation, and respect to Steven Gerrard. He did amazing. Respect to Glenn Kamara and respect to Rangers. Nobody deserves to be racially abused ever. It's wrong, and it shouldn't be in the world. And hopefully action can be put against the player, but hopefully for Rangers and Gerrard, they go on and they face this well, and they prove the quality that they've shown all season. So well done to Gerrard.
Well, Carl, I want to thank you for coming on. I know you're a young kid, you're not a young man, you're very young, but I think the world is brighter and better because of people like you who have that perspective, coming from all the way from Liverpool, as an Everton fan, but as a lover of football, but as a person who understands racial diversity and the need for respect across all races. I really appreciate you coming on. Keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Good luck. Congratulations on your exams. Keep doing what you're doing. You're way above your years in knowledge and understanding of the game and talk to people.
Thanks, mate. And once again, thanks for everyone coming on. It's been great, and hopefully we can do it again. It's always fun coming on. So thanks for having me on.
And Charlie Everett, again from Manchester, thanks for joining, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, everybody else.
Everyone, we'll see you in about 3 weeks' time for the next edition of the ABL Fan Zone Show. Take care and good luck.
All right, dude. Alrighty.